Morning. Morning. So here we are. Brand new day. Brand new day. Morning with Self. Waking up with Master Shane. That's what we're doing. We're waking up. So and it's recording. And we're live. Waking up with Self. Waking up. We want to wake up ourselves first. And the morning's very, very important. It's very powerful. It's very sacred. First things we impress upon our minds. And one leads to another. So how we prepare for rest, retirement, can influence our morning. And just breathing, giving thanks. That's really the first thing anybody would want to really do, is to be able to breathe, right? Because we breathe, the body breathes, and there's so many things that can go on in life that thankfully we don't always have to be conscious of our breath to be able to breathe. So make some coffee, make some tea, have some water. It is important to have a glass of water. And you can throw in some sea salt for electrolytes and maybe a little bit of lemon for detoxifying. Really hydrating the body. And it's also important to get some sun, be in some light, and to start waking up. And to start waking up your body as well too. What time do you get up? Do you use your alarm clock? How many times do you hit snooze? So if we're looking at life as battles, then you could say that waking up is the first battle. To be able to get up and show up for the day. And so how do we get up and show up for the day? Are we rushing frantically? Or are we at peace inside of ourselves? we hitting the snooze, dreading to wake up? Or are we excited and thankful for the opportunity to create our dreams into reality and to live our dreams, to be able to live, to be able to receive this gift of life? Because it's not a guarantee. And there's no promise that everybody is going to be here tomorrow in the physical form. We don't know exactly what will happen as humans. Though there are things that we do know. If we really look deep enough, is that at one point in time, we're going to have to say goodbye to everybody who we think we know. I've realized this many times. My life has changed completely in the blink of an eye. And it's a beautiful thing. Though when one holds on and there's attachment, that's when it may seem distorted and it may seem scary. When you didn't really live in the moment and express what you felt inside of yourself, inside of your heart, to not communicate when you had the opportunity to communicate. And this is what we're learning here. You know, it's learning on how to live in the moment, how to dance in the rain, how to be able to express your heart. Because if you're keeping things inside and you're not communicating to those who you feel you have something to communicate, then that's enabling you to be stuck in life, and that's cluttering up your mind, that's cluttering up your focus, that's distracting you from the only thing that matters and from what you really need to do. Because it's a blessing for us to encounter each other. It's a blessing for us to meet each other along our own journeys. But we have to understand that we have our own journey. That is why we are here. It may be a play, it may be a dance. So yes, it may be a party in a way. There's also business. There's also something to accomplish, something to fulfill through the progressive realization, right? It's the progressive realization. And so when you begin to understand that, you can see how it's in your hands, how it's in my hands, regardless of any situation that I may find myself in, or you may find yourself in. Because we can always work on the progressive realization inside of ourselves. That's what we're doing with Morning with Self, is that we're waking up inside of ourselves so that we can progressively realize and we can live. And we don't have to cause harm. That's what we're learning here. How to get our way without causing harm. Many people have found a way to be successful in what they think, which is good. Now is the point of realizing the harm that we're doing, what's going on, and how to accomplish, how to succeed, how to fulfill without causing harm. Life just keeps on rolling. There are no retakes. It's not just, okay, let's cut. Life is always rolling. Life is always being recorded. And it's a beautiful, beautiful healing journey. So this is time, this is space for you to be able to take some moments, right? Give some moments to yourself before you start engaging in the day, which is going to help you engage more fully within the day. To be able to see the opportunities and to be able to take them. To be able to speak in the moment you encounter somebody, or there's somebody in your life that things are going on, maybe you don't agree, and you have these emotions towards them. Do you think it's possible that they could feel those emotions? Do you think it's possible that they could take that on without realizing, if they don't know how to protect themselves? What about opinions, thoughts of other people? Do you think that what is inside is truly secret to only you? And for me, I realized how unsure I was inside of my heart, inside of myself. And I wanted to do whatever it took to build that clarity inside myself. And I've gone back to school several years ago, and that was a very unique experience because I was at a different time. School, I'm talking about formal education, what we generally think about school, though life is a school, right? We're all students in the school of life, and there are many different types of schools. And we're going to be building a school, a university. And it's an interesting thing because I was at a deeper place inside myself where I understood what was going on inside of me, and I could better understand what was going on outside of me, and becoming more aware of the emotions and the energy. It was so, it's like you go into these classrooms, you go into these rooms, and they're filled with a lot of people with a lot of emotions. And so it becomes very difficult, or at least more difficult, to focus and to actually do work to get things done, to really concentrate. That's what meditation is for, is it helps you build concentration. Concentration is not just something that is given to us in a way. It's something that we develop. It's a mental faculty that we develop. And there are a lot of higher mind faculties that we can develop. And so it was a really unique experience because it was going around like full circle for me and beginning to understand everything that's happened growing up. And as a child, you're not really conscious in the beginning. You're almost like a complete observer who just absorbs everything. And then you begin to develop your consciousness and hopefully start thinking for yourself, or at least you try to think for yourself. And there are certain classes where I always felt tired and I would take a nap. And I mean, there's one where like it was right in the morning, and it's just like I felt like the teacher was picking on me. Like the teacher like would accuse me of certain things and she would bring attention to me. And for whatever reason, like I always felt like I was tired and I needed to sleep, even though it was the first hour, it was the first class, and I just woke up. So, which was interesting because it was Spanish class, and that was similar to the next Spanish class. So, whether or not they're different teachers, but whether or not there's any relations, all things are related in some form or some fashion, some way, not necessarily fashion, because it's just more about appearances. Though, so that's a huge understanding. That's a huge realization. Starting to become aware of the energy and the emotions and the vibrations and what does it really mean when the energy is dense and dark and more difficult to feel good in. So that's what I experienced on a higher conscious level of all of the emotions going on. And so I wasn't able to be attacked as much. I was able to protect myself because before growing up, I didn't know what was going on. I knew how I felt, but I didn't know why I felt that. And so it's very important to understand these things. If you're looking to achieve, if you're looking to accomplish, to be able to have fertile soil and an environment that is conducive to your success. that supports you, has your back, without secret agendas of wanting you to fail so that it can feel better about its misery. And so the title of today's Morning with Self, Waking Up with Master Shane, is going into our eating, our consumption. And we have these notions, these concepts of filling ourselves with food so that we feed the body. But how satisfied are we? And how much food does it take for us to be satisfied? Because in cultures around the world, for a long, long time, the elders would feed the children. And the elders would not just feed the children food, they would feed them stories to enrich their soul, to enrich their spirit, their understanding, to help stimulate wisdom and thinking for oneself. How often do we do that now? How often do we think about our spiritual needs and being able to satisfy our spiritual needs? How often do we sit down with a meal and really enjoy it? For me, I would say freshness is a taste. That's one of the things I love. And maybe in this point in time, maybe that's part of because we're always trying to preserve food, and preserved food is quite commonplace when fresh food tastes so fresh. It's alive, it's living, it's not death on a stick. And it has a certain life force to it. In the different diets and different ways of eating, strict ways of eating in different forms, but are we getting caught up in different ways of eating, diets? And we look at the calories, and we're looking at all the physical counterparts, the nutrition. Like, what is really the nutrition of that food to the soul, to the spirit? How does it make one feel? Why is it that when family gets together for, let's say, Thanksgiving, which is kind of funny when you think about the purpose, why is it everybody has to like feel sleepy and take a nap? Why is it that the energy is drained? Is it really because we consume so much? Then why do we consume so much? Why is it in family get-togethers? That's great that there's food out and offering and sharing, and that's what it's about. But why so many emotions? Why so many arguments? Why so many disagreements? Why does the energy drop? Are you aware of that? What's going on? How does it make you feel? That's what we're getting into with spiritual richness and helping people understand and teach that you can feel rich. That's what living rich is all about. It's about feeling rich without making yourself broke and poor, because that's not what it's about. Anybody can be poor, anybody can be broke. The whole part of life of becoming something, is succeeding in something, is finding your way in achievement in whatever you want to achieve inside your heart. And it's not to say that unfortunate things don't happen, because there's so many variables and we don't know it all as humans. So sometimes, hey, judge not lest you be judged. Because that homeless person on the street, that's a part of you in some way, in some form. The table turns. One needs to be careful. Golden rule, man. Like, treat others how you want to be treated. It might come back to bite you. And that's a teaching, that's a lesson. And I see that there's a lot to learn through the experience of homelessness. But the reality is that can happen to anybody. There's so many variables, so many things. The economy can be good, the economy can be bad. There's cycles. And there's a lot that one needs to be aware of to bring forth that insight and that wisdom so they can see storms coming. But if you're acting blind and you're acting deaf, then you're not going to see it coming. And it could be a great teaching to be able to open your eyes, to pay attention. That's what we're doing here. In waking up, we're opening our eyes and we're paying attention and raising our consciousness. Is that not what this is about? Is this really just about pleasure seeking and just trying to fill your time, just like you're trying to fill your belly and fill your stomach so that you don't have to feel hungry? But yet, how often do we just like fill ourselves and then we're not satisfied? And we're giving the body too many calories and we're not burning enough calories. But yet, we don't feel satisfied. So there can be a weight deficit in a way. Not necessarily a weight deficit, but like where in the same way of a money deficit, where you get to the point where you have so much fat on the body and you're not moving, so you're not burning calories. But yet it's easy to consume a lot of calories. This isn't to judge, this isn't to put down. It's an understanding that it's like you dig yourself a hole, just like with financial, just with money, by not taking care of your agreements and your negotiations. And the more you dig yourself a hole, then getting out is more difficult in the beginning. So really getting yourself together and being able to understand that now is the time. Instead of digging a bigger hole in making things more difficult, and the lessons and the teachings louder and louder and louder and seemingly more intense, well, let's just stop causing harm. Let's just stop digging a hole. And that's not to say that it's anybody's fault. This isn't to blame. This is to take responsibility. No more blaming. No more throwing around guilt. No more throwing around shame. Let's just stop and let's just breathe. Let's give thanks. Let's be thankful to be alive. Be thankful to be able to learn and to grow. It's like, okay, in a way, I got myself in this, but maybe unknowingly, unconsciously, I got myself in this. Or if you're younger, if you're a kid, then maybe other people got you in that. But okay, those are cards that I was dealt in life. This is a situation that I was given in life to be able to learn, to be able to grow from, to see what I can do with that. It's going to pass. This is all going to pass. What you think of the appearances and how everything seems, because it's an appearance. Appearances are constantly changing. If you're not loving it, if you're not taking care of it, then dust collects on it. Then other things start to attack it. And so that's what I help with as a spiritual energy management consultant. Also, how to protect yourself, how to protect your energy. Because there are those who are preying on others in this world. Because they are unconscious. For most of them, they're unconscious and they don't know what they're doing. So there is a part of forgiving that. Maybe some are intentionally trying to cause harm. Just like that so-called troubled child. But not that that child is troubled. That child got a little darkness in their heart. A little light is all they need, which is inside of them. Maybe there's a bad experience. Maybe there was a traumatic childhood where they felt like they had to do everything alone. They didn't feel like they could trust anybody, and maybe that helped them become successful in life. Though in reality, we're here to help each other. And we're here to find that source inside of ourselves and to understand that we are taken care of, that we are provided for, even though we may be taught differently and we may think and we may believe and perceive differently. We are loved, for we are here. We're given life. We're giving breath. There's so many things that could go wrong, but yet here we are floating in space as something. Because that's been what we've been curious about, what we've been discovering through our history. when you read the history books, you get to the essence inside the history books, we're always curious and changing our worldview of where we are. And we have theories, we have speculation, okay? We have some devices that give us some data to help us come to different conclusions about where we are, but it's not certain because you have the observer problem, as they say. The observer affects that which is observed. So, how do you really know that which is observed is the complete truth until you are completely clear of preconceived notions? How do you, until you can really perceive the true reality, though, as we've come through understand through science and other means and other perceptions and beliefs, that we don't know most of what's real because we do not have the data as humans. As a man, as a woman alone, the human eye only perceives a small fraction of visible light. So we only perceive a very limited amount of data as a human. So one needs to journey beyond that to be able to gather more complete information and data about true reality, the one reality in which all realities spring from. So waking up and being able to enjoy your food, being able to be satisfied. And this helps you do that because I'm feeding you spiritually. I'm feeding your soul. I'm feeding your spirit to be able to enrich yourself with more wisdom and more ability to be able to apply the knowledge and the data that we have and how to access more data from within you, as we would call self-knowledge, because there's different types of knowledge and there's knowledge inside of us. There's a knowing inside of us. There's a light inside of us. And it's when we forget that light that we really suffer in life, which helps us to learn on how to become closer and to understand that we are always connected. We are always one. That source is inside of you and is always with you. That light is inside of you and always with you. Your answer is inside of you. You have the knowing inside. But first, we have to peel the layers of our ignorance. We have to peel the layers of things that we think we know, because it's not in thought, it's a knowing. It's beyond conception. The essence, the source is beyond conception. is that which conceives. And so if we're only thinking in conception, how are we truly knowing and experiencing the essence, the source, from within everything? And so this is daily service. This is free food, as they say, free spiritual food to help you become more satisfied inside yourself, to be more aware of the knowing and the light inside of yourself. Do we need so much food? Or are we using food as a distraction? Are we using food to preoccupy us so that we don't have to be aware of what's going on inside of ourselves? But if there's misery, if there's guilt, if there's shame inside, it's part of your creation then. Because the point of power is now. Maybe you're not aware of it. Maybe you are aware of it. It's still a part of your point of creation. If you're holding on to it and you're carrying it now. And we're all on our own healing journey here. These are realizations. These are understandings. I'm on my own healing journey. We're all on our own healing journey. It's not to say that one person is better than another. We're different trees. We're different fruits. There's no comparison. There is no comparison. There is no fruit. There is no tree that will ever be like you. You are one in a never gonna be again personality, fruit, tree, expression of source. It's not one in a million. It's one of a kind. Like, out of all the infinite possibilities, you're one of a kind. Breathe that in. Breathe that in. So is your life that you have been given as a gift with no expectation. Though when you fully receive the gift, when you begin to receive it deeper, you realize that you want to give back. You realize that you want to make your contribution, that you want to pay your dues to learn your lessons well. And you want to do everything you can to leave this place better than what you found it. Not in judgment, not in condemning those who were before you, in full surrender, in full appreciation of this journey here, of this experience here, because it can be very, very enriching. Not just physically speaking, because we're not taking that with us. So it's about enriching yourself spiritually. That, the soul's growth. For that's all of eternity, beyond time, beyond space, beyond conception. So it's not what one particular man or woman may think. You have to journey beyond that to really know for yourself. Morning with self, waking up with Master Shane. How often do we eat, and not be satisfied? They talk about world hunger. This world is abundant. There's plenty for everybody. What's the soul's hunger? What's your heart's hunger? What are you really thirsty for? What's really going to satisfy you? What's really going to help you lay your head down at night? What's really going to help you open your heart and be able to fully experience life and all of its beauty and all of its blessings? Life is a blessing. And so as we go into that, as we accept that, without trying to figure everything out, we can receive our blessings. Morning with self, waking up with Master Shane. Tonight we're starting a weekend retreat for this weekend. Sunday is going to be very special, sitting with me. The show is on the weekdays, 6:30 a.m. on YouTube. And I provide consultations. So that's something that I do highly suggest. You contact me, Shane@mastershane.com. Support at healingholisticbeing.com. Write to me. See what happens. Witness miracles and receive the blessings in your life. Because I receive the blessings in my life, and I'm also protecting my blessings. They're my blessings. I can share them, but you don't have to be a thief, and you don't have to try to take and steal from me. That's not acceptable. So there's a part of paying for service. I provide phenomenal service. I help feed the spirit and the soul to help one become more satisfied inside themselves, rather than walk around with insatiable desires in such a frantic state of being that is causing a lot of harm. Because the solution is inside of you. The solution is in a different state of consciousness. The state of frantically walking around is the issue. So please, may you realize that you do not have to be the issue. And maybe it's not you. Maybe it's just what was taught. And that's just a part of this world, sleeping. Just understand that when enough is enough, you can wake up. That there may be certain experiences in life as a human that are difficult, but it does not mean that one needs to suffer. It does not mean that one needs to dwell in misery, in depression, anxiety. So that's as well too, where we can just add that as well too for the understanding of what really going on. And we label all of this energy and these things with all these names. And so we kind of give ourselves this excuse that, oh, I have an anxiety. I have this, I have that. We'll get rid of it. Do you really want it? If you don't want it, you can get rid of it by shifting your energy. You can have a spiritual energy management consultation with Master Shane, and he can help you feel better inside. It's only $125, which keeps on giving because I'm helping feed your spirit, your soul, so that you can rekindle and you can know your light and you can feed yourself and you can feed others. Contact me, Shane at mastershane.com, support at healingholisticbeing.com. It's a beautiful day. It's a brand new day. Anything's possible. And today is all we have. So understand that whatever's going on inside of you, that this is an opportunity to make resolution. This is an opportunity to call the people that you want to call, but it's not to waste people's time. It's a part of waking up with yourself first and being able to become the blessing in which you truly are by ridding the curses of the world. And so then you become a huge, huge blessing for others to encounter, for others to witness. I'm here. I love you beyond the physical. Support is here. This is daily service on the weekdays for everybody to receive. So may you enjoy your day. May you enjoy your experiences. May you be satisfied inside your spirit, inside your soul, with the nourishment that you put in your temple. Many blessings. We got some not recipes, but some cooking and different things, because I can cook. I can cook. I love you. Take care.